my god, it's beautiful. It's like a Leopard 2 AV turret without the viewport weak spot on the side, and more bouncy looking of a sloped mantlet that's super thick than the flat one on a 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 platform. A hunchback, if you will, of a Leopard 2. The Cybertruck of Leopard 2s. What is this thing? It's atrocious, but goddamn the angles on this vehicle. It's so streamlined. Holy crap. The 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 3 GST Turm Premium Tier 8 German tank destroyer. Why not? We already got the 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺57, so this is practically the Igor Leopard 2, or Leopard 2 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 if you want, 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺, or 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗵66F to a lesser degree, but goddamn, it's atrocious. There's no weak spot on this vehicle for the turret, the pseudo turret. It's a 3-man crew, but that's a commander, that's a driver, that's a gunner. So no cupola weak spot, but only a 3-man crew, so training the crew members of the loaders is going to be a problem, but who the hell cares, right? It's a haul down beast. 250 turret front. That's super thick. Mantlet, it's super thick. 10 degrees of gun depression. And 220 hull front. Sloped downwards a little bit. Armor frontally is amazing on this vehicle. Side armor is crap, so don't side scrape. You'll expose the hunch of the hunchback, so you'll get shot right here, damaging your engine, but goddamn, this thing is atrocious. I want one, I really do. I am biased for German vehicles, but this thing, I want a Cybertruck. Leopard 2. Look at the streamline, it's so sleek. Of a minivan looking thing. It's the Lamborghini of Leopard 2s. It's a Cybertruck, practically. Practically, but much better. Much better. 120mm main gun with gun depression. And very thick turret front. The Germans know what the hell they're doing with designing vehicles. It's amazing. Atrocious. Large side skirts that are probably going to get nerfed because it's German. So let's take a look at the main stats. 120mm, 244mm of pin for AP, and high explosive AT for gold shell. 300mm, not that bad. 400 alpha, that's a standard, but not exactly a plastic or HESH round. For the high explosive, that's still fine, I guess. Could use like 90mm pin or 105mm of pin for high explosive, but that would be kind of too good. Shell velocity is not that bad. DPM is about 2400, so not the worst, but it's aggressive as armor. That's actually pretty good in comparison to stuff like the Fernand or Jagdpanther 2. Not exactly assault per se of tank destroyers. 2 seconds of aim time. Accuracy could be better, but not the worst. 0.36. 10 degrees of gun depression, 20 elevation. 40 degrees per side of the pseudo turret. So a little bit better than the 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺𝗃, but 50 rounds. 3-man crew. 35 kilometers per hour top speed with 17 horsepower per ton ratio. It's not going anywhere fast, but it does rev pretty decently. And hull traverse speed is actually pretty decent, so adjusting to target or getting circle strafed is not that big of a problem with pseudo medium tank, fat medium tank traverse for the hull. Turret traverse could be better, but it's a tank destroyer after all. 1300 health, not as chunky as stuff like the Jagdtiger prototype at about 1600 health, but it's about the same as with the Grom or 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 for that matter. 220mm hull front, sloped downwards slightly. So that's about 240, 250 effective, practically, or more. Turret front, it's 250, sloped at an angle, without a cupola weak spot on top. Pretty goddamn good. Don't side scrape, you'll expose the hunchback in the back of the engine deck, so don't side scrape. But camo, not that bad too for a assault tank destroyer. View range, kinda blind, it's alright. I mean, optics will help, but 360 is getting close to the blind 350 for Russian heavy tanks, so it's a close range tank destroyer, but radio is standard. Holy crap, the armor on this thing is crazy. What the hell is this? They don't give you the turret armor, only the hull armor. I think it's glitched. They say the gun is moving at 40 degrees per side. It's not. It's not like a socket with a mantlet that you can move the gun about. It's a pseudo turret, so technically that's a typo. You'll see the difference with other vehicles like the XM57. But horsepower per ton ratio, not bad. 50-ish tons. Camo pretty decent. View range could be better. Aim time is rather quick. Accuracy could be better, so you could put improve aiming, but you definitely want a rammer on this thing. So yeah, not a bad looking vehicle. There's no weak spot on the front. And don't side scrape, you don't have to. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking really forward towards it. I mean, I am biased for German vehicles, but they always get shafted right before release. Some sort of nerf, like with the E77 or the T54D, right? So, god damn it. It's German. It has to be nerfed. Has to be. That's the law of nature. Premium tank makes more credits, yada yada. It's actually a longer barrel than the Leopard 2's 120mm. L60 is pretty long for a 120. It's usually about L40-ish, at max L50. That's the length when you combine these two numbers by multiplying, but that's a pretty long freaking barrel of a gun. Here's the comparison with the XM66F. It's about the same alpha, practically, but better pen, less DPM, but faster traverse of the turret, the pseudo turret. Same aim time. This is the glitch. You can see that the pseudo turret has 30 degrees per side, whereas this thing has a gun traverse arc of 40 degrees. That's wrong, so this should be up here. So slight difference, but it's a pseudo turret, not exactly a moving gun in a ball socket of a mantlet. But better accuracy, same aim time, slightly less DPM, so longer reload by 1 second almost, but rammer will still help. And I would prefer more armor. This thing has 220 hull front than 95. Glah. And 250 for the turret front without a cupola weak spot. Yeah, this thing is so much better. Repairs the track faster, if that's a thing. 2 seconds faster without repair skill on the crew. Weighs less, but better engine power, so better horsepower per ton ratio, same top speed, and better hull traverse. Better camo, much better camo. Not as good view range though, but then again, smaller cupola dramatically, so yeah, trade-offs, but goddamn, this vehicle looks amazing. I mean, visually, it's not the most appealing of Leopard 2 designs, but goddamn, the hull armor, the turret armor is super thick. Super thick. I mean, compared to stuff like this, yeah, superstructure is thick, but it's only 200mm, I think. Was it 200 or 250 on the Yak Tiger Proto? It's the same as Yak Tigers, but you could bounce a few shots. It's 250. So imagine this, but still sloped backwards at a slight angle. And you have gun depression and a better hull front. of 220 sloped downwards with a smaller profile. So not as good of a punch, but about the same DPM, surprisingly. So, and better traverse arc for the pseudo turret and gun depression, but yeah, 220 sloped downwards than 150 baseline. Yeah, this is much better assault of a German tank destroyer than stuff like this. This thing will perform, but it has the health of the trade-off than the actual armor. But yeah, it's a massive comparison between this thing as an assault tank destroyer compared to a Yak Tiger prototype. I would definitely want to play with this thing. You could be more aggressive with a lack of a weak spot. So yeah, they will shoot gold shell into your turret front, but yeah, it feels bad to spam gold onto a tier 8 when you're playing a tier 10 without a cupola weak spot. So equipment wise, rammer definitely a first. You want optics as a second choice, and finally possibly turbocharger, make it go a little bit faster, or just vents. Vents will be super good with the DPM and the accuracy and the view range. So I would say rammer, vents, and optics. You could swap the vents out for better accuracy or improve hardening, even though the health is not as much as the Yak Tiger Proto, or even a turbocharger if you're feeling saucy like a medium tank. But yeah, definitely rammer and optics. That's a given. Field mods wise, first one is definitely no question, no contest. Second one sucks. It will limit your effective hull traverse, even though on paper it's boosting. So terrain resistance does affect effective traverse for the hull, so go with the first one. And better track durability too. Accuracy or aim time. Accuracy, you already have very decent accuracy with the gun, so, or decent aim time. Go with better accuracy. Yeah, accuracy. Aim time's already good enough, so above 2 seconds is not that bad. Go with better accuracy. I will still go with accuracy even for the 0.32. That could be better. It's like 0.3. Yeah, it could be better. Go with better accuracy in most cases. But after firing camo or view range, definitely view range. After firing camo is 3%. That's not going to change much. I mean, change to like 3.5 with the bonus doesn't matter that much. Go with better view range. Definitely better view range. But it's a Vipera of a tank destroyer of a Leopard 2, but the Vipera is a very good tank destroyer. It just got outshadowed by the same time of release as the BZ-176 about 2 years ago. So yeah, outshadowed by the BZ, but it's a very good turret front too. And the cupola is a weak spot, but you have to have a large caliber gun to overmatch, otherwise auto bounce. So practically the same playstyle as this, but you have better DPM, better accuracy, faster aim time, and slightly better traverse speed for the pseudo turret. Not as good arc on the pseudo turret, but better pin, and the same alpha, same health. Hull armor could be better on the sides, but you don't use the side armor, you use the front. And a lot better mobility. 17 horsepower per ton ratio compared to 11.6 with about the same weight. So 200 more horsepower and better top speed, better hull traverse. I have optics, that doesn't count. Radio sucks on this thing for some reason, below average. And camo is not that great. 17% compared to 14.5. Yeah, the camo on the Vipera is not that good. This vehicle feels great. There's no downside. You're playing a fast, somewhat fast, assault tank destroyer without a weak spot in the front, right? I mean, the little viewport system for the camera on the hull might be a weak spot, but then again, might not be, so we'll have to see. But for overall impression of the vehicle, It's very thick, has gun depression, and decent enough mobility with decent enough DPM penetration as a premium tank. Only downside to this vehicle I could think of is the 3-man crew, so you're not training the loader or radio operator in some sense, but who the hell cares? We already have the special double crew skill thing or bonus crew skill thing with the crew skill revamp, so that's not a big drag nowadays compared to originally, but I would say this vehicle is like a 7.5. I am biased, but there's no weak spot on the turret roof. It's a very thick mantlet and a very thick turret front that sloped backwards still. Not as much, but still sloped. So 250 sloped could be about 300mm effective. I mean, scary when you have mobility and decent enough DPM. This thing will rule in front lines. It's amazing. What's not to like? I mean, it feels better than the large derp gun on the 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 patent, the XM57. I mean, we covered this thing, but goddamn, it's an 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 patent. DPM is not great, right? It's a big caliber, a very big caliber gun. It's a 152, right? 155, never mind. But very big caliber gun. Penetration is better, but not as good accuracy, definitely. Aim time or gun depression. And debatable hull front, performance-wise, with a 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 weak spot. So, yeah, debatable. But horsepower per turn ratio is not as good compared to the GST. Also top speed. Weighs more though. Concealment, about the same, but not as good as a 17%. Was it 17%? Better view range, but yeah, I would rather play with this thing without the weak spot. 17.5%. This feels pretty decent. Yeah, 7.5 because I'm biased, but like always, they'll nerf the crap out of this vehicle before release. They'll nerf the side skirts. Side skirts won't be there because it's German. Like with the E77 or Tiger Mouse. Fudge the Germans, right? Nerf the side skirts to be non-existent once this thing comes out. But for now, because of my bias, 7.5. It's pretty good. I mean, it's the best premium tank I covered this year that's actually new. Not a reskinned 𝗂𝗺 or 𝗧𝘂𝗿𝗺 T56 for that matter. It's the best premium tank I covered this year that is purely new. So 7.5 from me, but we'll see how the nerf goes because it's German. That's the nature of the stuff of wargaming. But as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.